schedules and trying to drop offs and whatever. So with that, and I will turn this over to Julie to get us rolling this evening.
All right. So thank you guys for joining us here tonight. As Steve had said, it is going to be a little bit of a briefer webinar since we did just go through this about a week ago. So it's pretty much the same information with a few updates here. So we've got our competition this Saturday and our rain date is Sunday the 18th. I'm Julie. For those of you who don't know me or didn't see my bright smiling face on Saturday, I am the sports director and I'm the kayaking lead for kayaking. And Steve, who was just talking, he's our senior sports director for sports and competition. Mike is on here as well, and he's our vice president of sports and competition. Jack, I'm not sure if Jack's on here or not, but he's our venue director. He might be if you are. Hi, Jack.
And again, it'll be recorded as you just saw or were notified. And if you have any questions throughout, go ahead and type those into the chat function. I'll be monitoring those as Julie goes through the deck, addressing any questions that arise. And at the end, we also will allow time for questions if need be.
All right, so a few things of just what we're going to go over, a little brief overview. We've got our schedule. It's going to be a little different from time trials since we did push it back for time trials. So we're going to go over our schedule. We're going to go over a little bit of parking, facility layout, some logistics, course maps, the same as last week, but they'll be on here again. Some rule reminders, and then at the end, we'll be open to questions or concerns or anything that you guys have. We're going to head over to that. All right, so for kayaking drop off, I know a lot of counties and delegations left their kayaks at the armory, but we are going over by the same schedule that you guys dropped them off before, just so it's not chaos kind of dropping them off. So you can see over here on this right side of this screen over here of the drop off times, and you will be able to see this in the email I'm sending in the follow up just so it's not chaos of everybody dropping their kayaks off at the same time. We do have a schedule scheduled, and I will send that over in the email, and you will also be able to see this on the coach's resource page. Handicap parking passes. You guys have previously requested these to me, and I have a list here. If you do not see your name on this list or know of an individual who does need handicap parking, please contact me just so it kind of cuts also down on some chaos going. We have limited space, so we would like to get those parking passes in as well. We are also not parking on the grass. We do like Washington College and we enjoy having our competitions there, and it is a very gorgeous facility. So we like to keep it nice, and we would like to be invited back to Washington College. So we are keeping our vehicles off of the grass, please, to avoid any property damage that is possibly happening. We have had a lot of rain, so just trying to keep the facility as nice as possible. A little bit of an updated schedule here. So 7:30 is when you guys are going to drop your kayaks off as scheduled from, I think 7:30 was the earliest one from in there. So it's 7:30 and 8:30 are your scheduled drop off times. So we're going to have that scheduled and keep the same. Volunteer registrations at 8. Delegation check-in is at 8:30, and that will be up on the boathouse deck where it was last weekend. There's a table there and you'll get your delegation packets and everything. 8:45 is when the course inspection is going to begin, and at 9:45 all of the kayakers need to be off of the water, not coming off of the water, off of the water, please. Reminder, we do have a coaches meeting at 9:45, and that will be at the beach staging area where it was last weekend. So if you are trying to get your athletes off the water, just please be mindful that our coaches meeting is at 9:45. Opening ceremonies, they will be at 10. We are going to begin staging at 10:15 for our first races. So it's while opening ceremonies, as soon as opening ceremonies is finished, we want to get our kayakers on over to the beach staging for that first event. And we are going to start off with the 500 meters. We're going to run through singles, traditional, and then unified doubles. And then we're going to do the same thing for the 100. And then our anticipated lunch break is 11:30 in between the 100 and the 200. So then we're going to run through the same thing again, 200-meter singles, traditional, unified doubles, and then we're going to do the same thing with the 1K as well. We are anticipating to end around 5. It is subject to change depending on how everything ends up playing out with events and everything like that, but we are expected to finish around 5, also with awards. So as soon as a event is finished, our kayakers are going to be led from the beach staging area over to awards, and they are going to be where they were last year, where that big garage door is, and there will be a volunteer who will be leading them over to that area over there. Course inspection, again, it's at 8:45 to 9:45, and please be cautious that the coaches meeting is at 9:45. So, I mean, you'll see us all piling up in a little circle there, and I think you'll hopefully get the hint. But all coaches must be with their kayakers when they are all on the water, please. Um, and when they launch their kayaks, we will have volunteers, but the volunteers will be in their training at this time. So you guys are responsible for getting your athletes and teammates on and off of the water, please. A little bit of a map, you guys have seen this before, but as you're coming in down Cross Street here, we will have Old Train Station parking off to your right, and then Wilmer Park will be off to the left down here. And as you keep going down the street, you will see the boathouse on your left, and there will be signs and everything. We're gonna have a few more signs this weekend than we did have last weekend. The green here is the handicap parking. Where'd my cursor go? There it is. So our handicap parking is in here, and we will have a parking official in the street, and you can tell them your name, and he will have the parking passes and everything ready for you guys. Your trailers, if you forgot where you parked them, I hope you didn't, but if you did, they will be over by the armory here in the blue. It's that big white building. If you keep going past the boathouse on your left, this section right here, there's a big old white building. That's where your trailers will be. And then competition area, same as last weekend. We've got the boathouse, the dock, and the competition area will be right here. Another venue map we got going on here. So your trailers are here. You'll pull them out and you will back down this gravel pathway here, and there will be a sign with the name of your delegation. We are going to move them a little bit just to kind of, we had a few larger delegations who didn't have any more space, so we are going to try to make them fit a little better and get them more comfortable in there, and hopefully that'll work out. So they will be listed with the name of your delegation. So drop your kayaks where your sign is placed, please. Bathrooms, the yellows are our bathrooms. So we've got our porta potties here, and there's a little hand washing station outside of those porta potties that your athletes can use before they are staging, just in case they do need to use the restroom before they get on the water. There is also a bathroom here in the breezeway, and as well as inside. There's the women's. As soon as you walk in those big glass doors, on the right is the women's, and all the way down the hallway on the right is the men's. Our awards is going to be this purple here. It's big garage doors that open up. They will be entering through these steps up here and being staged in the inside of that garage door. And the awards and announcer will be standing on this deck here. I think there's a picture later in the slides, but the awards will be given on this deck area here, and the announcer will be in the corner there. This grassy area here is where we call Tent City. So our delegations will be setting up their tents and everything here. And I know last weekend a few delegations did set their tents up in Wilmer Park, and that is perfectly fine. It is a public park. We are allowed to set our tents up in Wilmer Park as long as you do have someone listening to the announcers and a head coach at the staging area, please. This red here is our competition area, and this little pink guy right here is where Sam is going to set up for volunteers. She was set up last weekend in Wilmer Park, but she did say that she's our volunteer coordinator. She did say that she was going to be setting up in the pavilion this weekend, as she has done in previous years.
And Julie, real quick, if you can go back one slide, I'll test your navigation skills there.
Oh boy.
Sounds good. One thing on the awards, if you can go back up to that awards area, sometimes we do, and it depends on space and coordination there. Sometimes we do have if you remember from last year, maybe the year before as well, we may also do like pre-staging, if you will, of the athletes in the breezeway there with chairs, then move them into the inside building in the row room for the final staging for the procession to the awards area. The other thing I'll mention is I don't think anyone did this intentionally, and I'm not sure if it was anyone of us, it could have been someone else, another group. But we did find when we were walking the grounds and picking up little wrappers and little pieces of trash in the grass area in Tent City, if you will, there was a stake that was broken off from a tent securing it to the ground very hard. So if it was one of yours, I understand why it broke off, because it was a booger getting out of there. But no harm, no foul. We did find it. But if you do, or anybody has that situation, instead of just leaving it in the ground, just bring it to our attention so that we don't destroy any vehicles or whatever. As far as mowing goes from Washington University or anybody walking through that area, if someone would have stepped on that, it could have been a very bad situation. So again, I just remind people, if anything's of that nature, just to bring it to our attention. We won't penalize you. We just want to make sure we keep it safe moving forward.
Again, with the trash, we also do put a few trash bags in your delegation packets. Please use them. It makes our job a little bit easier and just keeping it clean and everything like that. So please don't be afraid to use the trash bags. And if you need any more, find someone in a purple polo this weekend and they will be able to get you an extra trash bag. There's also trash cans everywhere, so please use them. So with delegation check-in, have a head coach and or a delegated person head to the coach's check-in, which is going to be on top of that deck area at 8:30, and provide the names of all of the scratched athletes that you have. And you will get that coach's packet with all of the information and everything that you need inside of it. We want your kayaks to please be labeled, that they should be labeled from last weekend unless something has changed, but be labeled with the names of the athletes and the bib number of the kayaks or the kayakers who will be using it. If they need to be relabeled, just remember, please, that your kayaks have to be within 6 inches or shorter of what the athlete had used during time trials. The coaches meeting, it'll be a brief coaches meeting down by the little sandy area by staging again at 9:45, and each delegation must have their head coach there, please. And opening ceremonies will also be held in the same spot that they were last weekend, on the corner of that boathouse deck right there with our speakers and everything. Trailer parking, all kayaks must be unloaded by 8:30, please. You have your designated times, but try and get them off the trailers, get them into your delegation spots as quickly and as safely as possible, just so we can kind of clear that way for everything that we're getting ready to have happen, people walking, and if there is an emergency, that is our emergency exit. We do encourage you guys to bring pop-up tents. With the weather and the sun and everything, we encourage you to please bring pop-up tents. We do not provide them, and be cautious and be careful and just be kind about sharing the area. There is only a limited amount of space. It looked pretty spacey out there this weekend though. You guys are pretty far spread apart, but please share the area. And again, no vehicles allowed on the grass. Even if you're just unloading, please do not park your vehicle. If it's saying, let me just drop this off and hop out, please no parking on the grass or driving on the grass as well. We want to thank all of our area programs and coaches for their flexibility in helping with the kayaks, getting them to and from the staging area. We do have volunteers, but sometimes it's just very helpful to have a coach and or somebody designated to help carry the kayaks down to the staging area, whether it's an athlete and a unified partner or a coach, or just have them help and carry the kayaks on down for us, please. If any family members want to be additional volunteers and get more involved, they can also be a day of volunteer and go ahead and head up to that pavilion and check in with Sam. Another reminder, we would always want to have one coach at the staging area, please, just in case they're looking for an athlete or something like that. We do ask that one coach or designee is down at the staging area at all times. Access to the dock will be open when course inspection is open, so 8:45 to 9:45. There will be access to the dock, but not during competition. We ask that the coaches please stay off of the dock unless they are permitted for a hot swap when a kayak needs to be swapped or anything like that. Unless they are permitted, we ask that coaches please stay off of the dock. Bagged lunches will be provided if your delegation had requested them in a few emails I sent out a couple months ago. It was a lunch form and got sent out. So if your delegation had filled out that lunch form and sent it back to me, bagged lunches will be provided. And families and spectators, please bring a picnic lunch. They are welcome to bring a picnic lunch or anything like that. And at the end, as always, if we have leftover lunches, please take them home with you. We don't want to waste any food. We don't want them to go bad. So the possibility of leftover lunches is always there. This is an important one. So we are removing the course this Saturday, and we are all going to be tired. Yes, we had a long, fun day, but we are all going to be tired. And we do ask that if anybody is available, to please let me know and help us remove the course. It is a bit of a project, but Jack is so gracious to help us, and he is very helpful with the whole setup of the course, removal of the course, and just the more hands, the merrier. And if you are available, please note to bring an extra pair of clothes, like change of clothes, because pulling those anchors up can get pretty muddy, and just the lake water and or the oh, we're not on a lake. The water and everything like that. We don't want you to have to drive home with all that. And you can also bring a towel because there are showers available afterwards if you would like to shower. But we do ask to please, if you are available to help us out, just kind of quick, get it done. And it would be awesome. We appreciate it. I see you're unmuted, Steve. You got something to add?
No, I was just going to say and reiterate the point that you're making here. Jack and Kent County and Washington County, as well as one or two volunteers to help set the course a week prior to the time trials, readjust it during the week. But if you've never done it, I know several of you over the last year or two have helped with the removal of the course. It is quite time consuming. There is some physical labor involved as well. And you guys all well know from event experience, if you have three people removing 4 lines and 12 anchors or 18 anchors, however many anchors are out there, all the buoys, washing them off, washing the boats off. If there's 3 or 4 people, which has been in the past, we could be there till 10 at night. We have a couple extra hands. It would save several hours and heartache and and back aches as well. So really take this to heart. If you are available or other members of your delegation are available and willing to do so, we would truly appreciate the assistance, not only from our perspective, but also from Washington College's perspective and Jack's perspective as the venue director and the host of the event. But I can't stress it enough. We want your assistance. We need your assistance. But don't take it lightly that, oh, I won't need I've got a shirt or pair of pants. I don't care if they get a little muddy. Be prepared that you will be covered potentially in the soot from the river base. Depending on where you are in helping out with that. If you're on the boat and you're pulling up the anchors, you'll get it on your shoes, you'll get it on your legs, you'll get it on your pants. If you're at the dock pulling in the ramp or the rope, it could get on your shirt, it could get on your pants. It's really time consuming, and with your assistance, it would be much appreciated, and I'll leave it at that.
Medical. So medical will be where it was last weekend up on the boathouse where delegation check-in is. And if you need medical, find anybody in a purple polo that has a radio and just let us know and we will get that for you guys. Rain and inclement weather. So we will continue to compete in light or moderate rain, but if the rain or weather is affecting our competition with the kayakers and weather conditions, water conditions, anything like that, making the competition extremely difficult, the competition may be delayed. And the vicinity of the boathouse will be a place underneath that a little overhang awning by the deck right there will be a place that we can go in inclement weather if it's raining or anything like that. We also do ask that you go to your cars, and we will notify you guys via email and or text message of any updates with the weather conditions and the process of proceeding with the event. This is the weather looking as of today. So we are expecting a bit of rain. I'm hoping we get as lucky as we did last weekend, but you never know. It is Maryland. She does get kind of temperamental with her weather. So I think we're expecting about a half an inch of rain. I think it's a steady rain all day. I'm not sure. Mike had pulled this up, and Steve and I were talking about it earlier. It's real small. It's a little difficult to
Yeah,
read.
and I think with this, we don't have the hourly forecast as of yet. We should have that sometime at the end of the day tomorrow. We'll continue to monitor that. But yeah, at this time, the half inch of rain could be in the way early morning hours. It could be in the very evening hours. It could be the middle of the day. So again, if you have your happy weather dance, start that now. The happy weather dances really helped us get through last weekend. If you saw the pictures leading into the Friday going into Saturday was somewhat of a miracle that Mother Nature worked out for us. So again, we're aware of the weather, wanted you to be aware of the weather. Communications will be sent out. And more specifically, when we start looking and getting access to the hourly reports within the next 24 hours or so. So just be on the lookout for those communications and correspondence through primarily email. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Julie or give Julie a call.
All right, we've got another map. I'm sure you guys love seeing these. So this is going to be our course. It is set up the same as it was last weekend. This fourth line did get a little wonky with the weather, so we are going to try to reset that on Friday. But we've got our first lane here closest to the shore, and then it's second lane in the middle and third lane on the outside. This little pink marker here is our 100 buoy marker, 100 meter buoy marker. This one is our 200 meter buoy marker, and then we've got our 500 meter buoy marker. It's not on this picture, but it is at the end here. We are going to have the pontoon boat staged again where it was for our timers. And then we've got our safety boats, and the 1K buoys are in the same spot that they were last weekend. We're just going to double check them, make sure they haven't grown legs and walked away. But that one big red 1K buoy marker is a little bit off of the dock as it was last weekend. And then there's another big red buoy marker right off to the side of it out towards the shore. The rules, you guys had to dread through me speaking about these last week, so we are going to kind of skip through them a little bit. If you would like to read them, they will be posted to our coaches resource page, and you will be able to watch the slide deck through there, and there'll be a link and everything, and I will also link it in the email following up tomorrow morning that I will be sending out.
Yeah, I think one thing here, again, as Julie mentioned, the rules are the same as they were last week. One of the things, if you do have an individual who has a hearing impairment, one of the things that I didn't have in the slides leading into time trials is one of the additional things we have found helpful is not just the visual of the flag being dropped to indicate the start of the race, but we also do bang on the back of the kayak pretty hard so they feel that vibration, and that's the indication to go as well. The one other thing here in the rules that didn't occur last week because it's time trials and you're getting scores and times leading into finals that was not implemented, if you will, last week for a reason, but will be this week, is if you travel outside of your lane, that's when the 5-second penalty will occur. So it wasn't done last week because if you implemented the 5-second rule, it would basically give an advantage to an athlete moving into this week perspective. So just a reminder that the 5-second rule will be implemented as a penalty for those who travel outside their lanes. Same thing if you need to finish within the lane, but if you go outside of your lane, there's the 5-second penalty that will be called and implemented there. So with that being said, as well as with the 1K race, not necessarily the finish at the finish line will be what you see. It may be affected by either penalties or for the 1K, people crossing or different divisions basically going out, not necessarily in division order based on their start times and the fastest to slowest on the 1K. So again, just be aware of that. That'll be noted. And again, just wanted to stress that one as we move forward. But otherwise, all of the rules are the same as last week, and we didn't feel like it was imperative to go through that all again with you this week as you just went through it a couple. But again, these are here for you to review for your convenience and be available to you.
All right, so the course is going to be the same as it was for time trials. Other than that fourth lane, hopefully it won't be as wonky and we'll be actually looking straight down and it'll be a nice straight fourth lane there, the one farthest out from the shore. The 1K course inspection opens along with the rest of the course inspection. It is 8:45 until 9:45. And again, all kayakers off of the water by 9:45, please. Not getting off of the water, actually off of the water by 9:45 for our coaches meeting at 9:45 as well. Uniforms. The competitors must wear shirts and shorts and pants during all practices and competitions. They must be wearing a type 3 life preserver with a whistle at all times as well. Helmets are optional. Water shoes and polarized sunglasses are recommended, but they don't need them. I will be distributing a division. I will be sending an email out to all of you coaches with divisions and everything like that, no later than Thursday night, which is the 15th. And then you will also receive all of the information in a delegation packet that you will be picking up at 8:30 on the boathouse deck right there when you guys sign in. There'll be the bibs and everything in there. There'll be safety pins. There will be master heat sheets. There'll be the Bucci report and everything like that will be in those packets. Your lunch distributions will be in there as well. It's a whole ton of information.
Hey, Julie, check the chat. I just posted something that you may want to share or you may not.
While she's checking that to see if she wants to share it or not, as a reminder, everyone will have the same bib number. All the competitors will have the same bib number as they had at time trial. So from a labeling perspective, if you put that on your kayaks, the same numbers will be in play again this week for each individual.
So I'll share Mike's chat comment there. So everything is posted to our coaches resource page. Mike must have just finished that up for us. So thank you so much, Mike. But they are posted on our kayaking coaches resource page. You just go to SMD coaches resource on the top and then scroll down till you see kayaking, and they will be posted with a link that will pop up in a new page on our coaches resource page.
That just to clarify, it's the Bucci report and the delegation report. What's not on there are the actual heats. It's the schedule of heats is there. So those still have to be generated and posted. But you can get your Bucci report right now if you wish to. And that's all because Julie did such a wonderful job with the divisioning and scheduling today to get it all done. So she was looking out for you.
Trying to, with the help of Mike.
Yeah.
So all of our kayaks are required to have a flotation device in them, like a beach ball or something like that in the stern. Each athlete or teammate must qualify and compete in a boat of similar sizes. As I had mentioned before, it has to be within 6 inches or shorter, please. They have to be using the same style or size paddle at time trials and finals as well. And again, their kayaks need to be clearly labeled, please, with their name and their bib number. It's going to keep our stagers hopefully a little more sane. We'll kind of see how it ends up working out, but they don't know everybody. So it's very helpful if the head coach is not available or someone doesn't know an athlete. It is very helpful to have it clearly written on the front of the kayak. Oh, it's not letting me. There we go. So we are going to do our best on lining up and keeping our athletes safe at staging. They will be heading in backwards, but we do ask that our athletes are able to get around by themselves and be able to maneuver their kayak by themselves. Whoopsies. Once kayakers are on the water, we ask that no coaching is permitted, please. No screaming from the sidelines, paddle left, paddle right, no coaching in that manner. You can say, go, 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 paddle, 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 something encouragement, but not instructions, please. This could result in a disqualification of your athlete. So we do ask that you do not give specific instructions, please. And ask everyone let everyone in your delegation know, family members, everything like that, to please be mindful of what they are saying. The awards, this is the picture I was talking about. So I'm sure you guys saw this little area here. Your tent city is in this grass area here. And this area will be our awards area. So there will be a podium here with someone announcing awards. And these garage doors will all be open and they will be lining up here. The athletes will be lining up and receiving their awards. The staging will be in that, how Steve had mentioned, in that breezeway there, the little pre-staging, and then inside will be the actual staging. They'll come right up after their events and get their awards directly after their events. So please be mindful, as soon as the athlete comes off the water, they're going to head up to awards. Once we get results, we're just going to go right into awards, kind of keep everything flowing smoothly. With the 1K, no awards will be distributed until the 1K is finished, because we don't know, as Steve had mentioned earlier, with 5-second penalties and everything like that, we will be doing awards after the 1K is completely finished.
Yeah, there was a quick question there. Josh had asked the question. Athletes who were disqualified last year are able to come and participate at the finals for a participation ribbon in said event. The other thing,
Actually, Steve, it's those who participated last week. You said last year. So
Oh, yeah, last week, my bad. Well, if you did last year and last week, then yes, that remains the same. Thanks for that, Josh, and everybody. I hope you knew what I was talking about. And Julie, if you can go back one slide real quick. Where the awards is located, obviously last week we didn't have awards. But in this front grass area, leave that kind of clear. We will have some signs, some banners up there, but just so you know, the area right in front of those steps where Julie's cursor is, kind of keep that clear of any tent cities, things like that, so that we do allow room for spectators at the awards presentation area.
All right. If anybody has any questions, you said you were keeping an eye on the chat. I think it was just Josh. Yep.
Yeah,
So
I
as
do
long
see Alan has his hand up. Alan?
Yeah, I have a few questions, please. Do you have an idea of when the competition will be halted because of the break for lunch that the volunteers take?
I
Yeah.
would say, oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically when that lunch break is happening, because that lunch break is when we're moving the timers around. So there will be a small hesitation there to make sure everything's in place.
So, but do you know about what time of the day that lunch break will be?
Yeah, that was on the schedule earlier. I believe it was around 11:30 or so.
Yeah, we're expecting 11:30, but nothing is set in stone. It kind of all really depends on the flow of the races, I would
Yeah.
say. I don't want to give you a definitive time, but the anticipated lunch break would be 11.
I thought
So
that you-
actually, I'm sorry. Can I clarify that? Because so the lunch, I think lunch is available for pickup at 11:30
yeah.
on the schedule that we worked out. The last division before the lunch break, this is what we worked out earlier today, is set to be staged at 12 o'clock. And then the next division, which will, and so that's the 100 unified doubles. The next division, which will be a 200 traditional doubles, is staged at 1 o'clock. So there's a break there. Now we sometimes run late and such, but that's when, based on the schedule that Julie worked out earlier today with the individual heats, that's where that is.
So if I'm understanding you, Mike, the lunch break will be approximately 12 to 1.
Approximately 12, I'll figure 12:15 or so
Okay.
to 1:15. It'll be a little staggered based on folks, but we got to get the folks on the water back in to take care of certain things. So yeah.
One more scheduling question. You have the 500 staging beginning at 10:15 and the 200 staging beginning at 11:30. Is that optimistic? It seems like a short period of time. I'm just asking because people coming to see athletes in certain races.
So I think that slide may have been before, not updated with after we did the actual schedules. So I'm looking at what we call the heat schedule, and that's on the coach resource page now too. We usually don't give this out to coaches. It's something that the management team uses, but there's nothing secret about it. So 500 start staging at 10:15. The 100 is the next distance. We've got that staging starting at 11:45. Then the 200 is staging starting at 1. And the 1K is staging starting at 2:45. Keeping in mind the 1K is going to be from absolute fastest to slowest. So
Okay.
we have everything slotted right now at 2:45, but when we sequence them, we'll have that staggered and we'll call out to you. But they'll be in sequence based on their lane number that appears on your stuff.
Okay, so the 200 would be at 1:45 that would begin.
No, 200 is, so 100 or 500 is scheduled to start staging at 10:15. 100 is scheduled to start staging at 11:45. 200 is scheduled to start staging at 1 o'clock. And the 1K is scheduled to start staging at 2:45.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Sure.
And my last question, totally unrelated to the previous questions. With respect to the 500, in the event that an athlete were to be DQ'd at the very end of the 500 race. Obviously, you can't eyeball that from any place on land. So my question is, and you may have answered this in the prior webinar, but my question is there some contemplated means of communication that has occurred, that, again, an athlete gets DQ'd based upon, say, being at a lane at the very end of the 500? How would people back on land know that?
So we do have safety kayakers out there, and we do have the safety boats with the timers. So everybody out there has a much better view than we do, and they are watching that as well. We have timers who are set up all the way at the 500 on that far dock down there, and they have a much better view of the in the pavilion and or on the grass. So we have radios. We are confirming everything through radios, and there are GMT members down there with the timers.
No,
Yeah, and Alan, what we'll do is when we post the results that go, those are the ones that go out and get posted, just as they do get sent to the awards for the preparation of the presentations. It will be noted on those, and Mike Sarnowski could correct me if I'm wrong, but on those final results that get posted, there is a denotation there that will say DQ out of lane or DQ course violation or something to that effect.
So
Yeah, I don't think that will happen. I'm not sure. I don't think that's what Alan's asking. Alan's asking is if the coach, notification to the coach as soon as possible. I mean, if the late, as soon as we can get it is when it's posted, that's one thing. But I mean, if they can see the flag, they'll throw a red flag, right? When there's a DQ.
Yeah.
So is
Yes.
that what you're getting at, Alan?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you would communicate that what, by the cell phone or in Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Depending, I mean, in a perfect world, yes, we would be able to call you on your cell phone as soon as the challenge there. Let us think about that, Alan, how we can do that. I know there's hopefully not going to be a lot of DQs, but in the rare instances when there are one, to communicate from our people in the results area who are in communication with the finish lines and getting those times and DQ information if they do arise, and figure out the best way to contact you guys, other than at the latest watching the results as they're posted on the walls or on the windows there. So we'll think about that one, and hopefully if there's only one or two, we'll be able to call you guys and let you know a situation has occurred. So we'll address that and give you more information at the coaches meeting on Saturday morning.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for the question.
Is
I
there
do
any?
not, I don't see any other questions that have come in through the chat.
Okay, well, if any of you guys think of any questions, please feel free, shoot me an email and or a text message, and we'll get you situated. Other than that, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it, and we're very excited for Saturday. Hopefully the weather holds out for us just as much as it did next weekend or last weekend. Oh man, everything's flowing together over here. But thank you guys for joining us and giving us 45 minutes of your Tuesday afternoon. We really appreciate it, and we will see you on Saturday.
And now, Julie, now is when you can stop recording. Again, thanks everyone. Look forward to it.